Hello, welcome and welcome back. It's Judy from Thistledew Creations, and today I'm sending out 2 bits of Happy Mail for the group Happy Mail Canada. One to Bailey and one to Bobby Joe. And I've got the items set aside, but I want to decorate the envelopes up. Bailey's, I think, is going to need a bigger envelope, so I'm starting with this larger one that someone sent me a while back. And then Bobby Joe's is a package of beads and charms. I think it'll fit in this one. So we're going to start just doing some collaging to make them pretty. I'm going to start with some music paper, just kind of as a backdrop. And I'm not going to ink anything for this. I'm just going to kind of glue stuff down. I'm going to use fairly big pieces on Bailey's because it's a big envelope. This is vintage music paper, but I'm going to use it anyway. I have lots. Give it a good bit of glue. And I am going to go around the edges with the tacky glue. I think it's very important when you're mailing that you don't have anything sticking up, because then it'll get caught in the machines and get mangled and break open, and we don't want that happening. This edge is going to be covered because I have to make a new flap for this, so I'm not going to worry about there. But this edge is very important. There's a reason I didn't go all the way to the edge. I find it's even easier for it to come up if it's right to the edge. You can do these and then set them under something heavy overnight to make sure that everything is really stuck down. I just love decorating envelopes to send. So I'll do a little bit of music on each one. I've got my part of my stack here. A bit of music. This is where my postage is going to go, most likely. A little rub down just gives it a little warmth to help it stick. I'm going to go away from my music for a minute. I might come back and do more. But I'll go to the book page next. And we've got some, looks like a index, part of an index from something. I'm going to put this sideways and overlap it onto the music. Maybe I'll just rip this edge so that it doesn't have to wrap around, because that's a pretty small wrap around. So I like to give, the envelope is almost like a masterboard that you're giving with the contents. Now these are padded envelopes, but they can still use them. Some people like the padded envelopes for journal covers because they're kind of give a neat squishy sound. And I don't really like to have everything lining up, so you'll notice these don't line up. It's a little bit loosey-goosey right here. Give it a little bit, and I'll just put a little bit here, and maybe even tear that off. There's a couple spots where I couldn't get the packing tape off, so I got to be careful that I get it stuck down really well to those spots. And it's not something that I usually do, doing two at once, but I am going to do that today. I'm going to try. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I feel like my videos are lacking a little bit these days. I'm just so low energy. I thank everyone who continues to watch. And I'm hoping to have a little more energy through the winter to do some more interesting things. I like this sort of bluish paper with the big font on it, so I'm going to use some of that here too. And I think I'll tear that edge. Don't like those straight edges so much. I can leave it along the bottom. The other edges are torn with a tear ruler, it looks like. Go over a bit. This one can stay square edge because that's where the postage will go on this one, I think. Well, I might have a flap, but that's okay. I've got some room for overlap there. Not too worried about that. One of my old clear glues here, glue sticks. I've been using the purple ones lately. I'm not out of them, but I just must have. I have a little over-the-door shoe holder with clear pockets, and it's on the back of my craft room door, and I have my glue sticks on it, in it. And I just grabbed a couple there the other day when I was getting low. What else have I got in this one? Some sort of normal looking book page. Let's put some of that as well. I've been doing a keto diet, and then I am losing a little bit of weight. I feel it and I see it, but it does make me tired, feeling a little punky. I actually took a break, and last night I had a piece of pumpkin pie just to kind of give myself a little something. Do some wood grain here up in this corner. I figure pumpkin pie, even though it has a fair bit of sugar, and I did eat the crust, is probably one of the healthier sweets I could have because of the vitamins that are in the pumpkin. And I feel like maybe that's what I'm missing, is some vitamins, because it's a lot of meat and cheese and eggs and nuts, a little bit of yogurt that I've been eating. Not much. I try to have a salad when I'm out for a meal in a restaurant, because there's not a lot on a restaurant menu for a keto diet. One restaurant that we go to for lunch sometimes does have a really good omelet, and I just don't get the toast with it. So that's good. A good, easy way to eat keto. Salad's a good way, even though the dressing sometimes has sugar. I figure it's not the worst thing I could have. I could be having an ice cream sundae and a milkshake and pie and cake and cookies, and I'm not. So I am a little bit gentle with myself on those counts. I want to put that there, but I'm not ready to do it yet. Silly me. Let's try to use those kind of plainer ones for like a label. Fits that way, and then that can fit there. I have sometimes used fancy labels, but when I've got a piece of plainish paper like that, I sometimes use that for a label instead. And I really like this paper that I got from Temu. Some sort of a rice paper, I think. I'll put that right there. That squiggle of glue through the middle really helps you to be able to move the piece of paper around a bit to get it right where you want it. I don't think I need to do that here, but that's one of the reasons I do that. Just putting a little bit of glue over top and then smearing it along the edge. Make sure that it gets really well stuck down. That's a bit of a cardstock feel to it, that paper. So that's pretty much decorated, but it looks kind of boring, don't you think? Let's finish the other one up, and then we'll switch to some smaller, more decorative things. So I can do another piece of this up in this corner. So if anyone has any tips for keto diet for feeling better, I know that one thing is electrolytes. Like I've been eating or drinking Gatorade Zero to hopefully replenish some electrolytes. There's probably a better one than that to use, so if you know of one, let me know. I just want to feel better, so I'll take any hints you have. I'll put that there, even though it's not very torn looking. I like the color of it. And then I think just a plain piece for a label in the center here. That's pretty light. I think, oh, maybe a piece of this. This is just torn out of a book. That'd be a nice big label. And I might still put a fancy label over top. I do like my fancy labels. Let me just see what I've got for fancy labels. And I'm gonna use some of these little scraps. Let's see what other colorful little scraps I have to use. I'm also fighting a cold, which isn't helping. I am doing a pretty good job of fighting it, but it is a fight, a struggle. I get into sneezing fits. I feel cold. Started off with a sore throat, so drinking lots of tea and coffee and water and trying to keep hydrated. These will add something else nice to it, so I think I'm going to use those. Let's see what other goodies we can add on here. So I've got a dragonfly stamped, just on a piece of stationery paper. Getting all sticky quickly today. So that will look good sort of right there. Just kind of keeping these here so I remember that they are part of the mixture. Got a little carved wooden face with some birds and a bird bath. That's kind of cute. I like using stuff like that, just little fussy cuts. This is a great way to use them. Some fussy cut roses that I left. These didn't print right. So you see how they're kind of faded off on the edge there? So instead of tossing them, I fussy cut what was printed well, and then I left a bit of paper attached to it. I think I'm going to get rid of that hole though, and then glue it down. I'm going to zigzag them off. And I can use that as a spot to write on the envelope what group it's from. I always try to leave a spot for that, as well as a spot for the address. And that way, when you get your happy mail, you're not scrambling to remember which group you're supposed to thank the person in. That looks nice there. I have another one of those, so I think I'll put one up on the other envelope as well. So when you have misprints, when you're printing printables, don't just toss them. You can usually, if you think about it or let your mind be a little bit creative, you can usually think of a way to use them up, especially this. I'll put this up here. I like the roses against the wood grain. Let's see what else we've got. A feather cut out of map. I can't remember how that came to be. Maybe it was a die cut. It might have been, someone might have sent me that. I can't remember cutting it myself. I do use that kind of, it's like a, I think it's a map that you get for, that shows all the different things in an area. Don't remember cutting it. A map is something I like to include in the mix. Now I love this, but this is more cardstock. I may send that to Bailey. She asked me for shaped cards, so that could qualify as a shaped card. So I'm going to just stick that in with her stuff. Let's see what else I've got in here that's kind of cute. There's another dragonfly, so both of these can have a dragonfly now. I do like things to overlap and intersect. I don't usually include cats or dogs unless I know for sure that the person likes them. And I don't really need that because I've already got the other flowers. I don't want to put there's an Eiffel Tower. That's kind of cute. Who doesn't love Paris? My parents went to Paris when I was a kid and went to the Eiffel Tower. Okay, now this one is more really scrappy things. Probably things that should be tossed, but I have hung on to them for one reason or another. It's just a little bit of a quilt pattern. And then that's just a really pretty blue color. Little pieces of an invoice that from years ago when I used to buy beads. And I have been able to find ways to use these up rather than toss them. Add a bit of color with the turquoise. I always like anything turquoise. And then things like this where you, I don't know if they still do this, in the middle of a magazine there would be a card. And I often save those as well. I get a lot of old magazines to fussy cut, and you often find these in the old magazines. I don't buy new ones, so I don't know if they still have this kind of thing. But I've come across some from the old Columbia House, where you would choose a bunch of, I don't know where to put this now that I've got it glued. You'd choose a bunch of music. That's probably not my best work, but I thought those were fun to find. A piece of pink, oh, that's too cardstock-ish. There's just a little stripe of red. I remember the project that came from. That's what I like about using scraps, is the memories that you sometimes have from seeing this scrap that was used in a project. You know, this one was over a year ago. It was a notebook I made for Diana, my second cousin, Diana Cleaner. And then I think I'll glue this right down. I'm going to have to turn this page. It's getting pretty goopy. You see Scott McGilvery there, staring at you upside down. He's an ambassador for woodcrest cabinetry, which we sell at our store. We've made some beautiful kitchens with woodcrest cabinetry over the years, and some awesome closets. Remember if I put white glue on that last label. There, so that's the front's done. I don't think I'll do much on the back, although this one says do not bend. Doesn't hurt for it to say that. There are a couple of spots that maybe could be fixed up. And I do need a flap on this one, because this one was torn open. So let's see what I have for a flap. Got this blue paper. That would kind of go nicely. So let's use that. And it's cardstock, so it'll make a good envelope flap. And so I will mark the width. I'm not worried about conserving this sheet, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut. This is one that I was given, this sheet, by my nephew, Christopher, from his yard sale. I love blues, so I mean, I'll use these pieces. Oh, and that's 2 pieces I just cut. Didn't know that. I might make some more tags for Bailey out of that paper too, since it's on her envelope. So I'll glue it on this side and fold it around to the other side. So go ahead and make a fold. So that it'll have an easier time gluing down. And then I'm just going to cut a slight angle for the flap. Have an attempt at making it even. So this will get glued down on the front. And I'll probably put tape over it as well, even though that kind of ruins it for her being able to reuse it. I'll give her some scraps of this in the envelope. Yeah, that works well. So this can go The rest can stay. But you see, I've got packaging tape there, so I really kind of need to get rid of that so that this will have a better chance of sticking down. Paper to paper is always better than paper to tape. I just took the address label off of this envelope before I started the video. I don't remember when I received this. I didn't recognize the name of the person that sent it to me. But this tape is really, it's old. I think that's why it's having trouble coming off, is its age. That'll reach anyway, and I can, like I said, I can tape on top of that after I glue it down. Give it a better chance of sticking. Because even this is glue. This shiny bit is glue. So I have to make sure that I get it well stuck down, closed. So that's my two envelopes. Now I'll show you what I'm going to put in them, just because, why not? Might as well share. And then you'll know whether you want Happy Mail from me or not. Okay, so for Bobby Joe, the smaller envelope, she asked in weekly wishes for beads and charms. And so I questioned her about what themes she likes. And she told me that she likes to add chunky charms to her junk journals. So I'm putting it inside of this pillow envelope. It's like a plastic pillow envelope that came with gel gloves in it. But just so that it keeps it kind of compact, and I will tape this shut. But I'll just show you what's going in as I fill it up. I took my stacked baskets with these plastic bins into my craft room and just started filling them up for each lady. So this is what I came through that fits the description of chunky. So there was this, for beads, I'm sending her this chunky necklace, and it's a vintage necklace. It's in perfect shape, actually. But it's just, I won't use these beads anymore. I used to make a lot of jewelry. So when I was doing jewelry, I would have taken this apart and probably used the crystals for snowman heads and these little discs for part of their hat. I would have done that. You could definitely make some pink snowmen out of this. But you could also just mix them with other beads, take it apart and mix it with other beads and do whatever. So you get some little silver beads, some crystal beads, and some disc beads in there, as well as all the chunky pink beads. Toss that down in there. And then I've got a strand of bluish gray pearls. These are the kind that are attached with cord, but you can still use them to make some tassels. I'm sending her those. And then I've got a couple pairs of earrings for her that she can either keep them as earrings for herself, or deconstruct them to use in her journals. So there's a pair of pumpkin earrings, and this is my jewelry cards that I used when I was making a lot of jewelry and selling it. So thistledewcreations@gmail.com is my email. That's always in my description box. And then I had Shopify added on there. I don't have a Shopify shop anymore, but I do still have Thistledew by Jag on Etsy, although right now it's on vacation because of the postage strike, and I haven't put it back on yet. Just taking a little break. And then a pair of skulls. So again, she might like them, she might not like them, but I'm sure she'll know someone that will. So give her those, because Halloween, she'll probably get this right around Halloween. And then this is an earring as well, but I have used these for other things. It's like the top part of a dream catcher. And we've got another pair of earrings here that would make great book charms. You can add more dangles to them. They have loops at the bottom. And then I've got some leaf charms. These used to be earrings, and I've taken apart all the earrings and made them into different things. Got some more chunky beads. That was a necklace pendant. And this I hand painted with nail polish. It's a clear plastic charm that I got at the Crayola store. And I used nail polish and did the crackle finish over top. So it's all nail polish on there. And then we've got a printed mother of pearl pendant. And then a bronze one with kind of rune symbols on it. An angel with some more crystals, angel wings with more crystals. Some green beads. A rose. And that has a jump ring attached. These used to be earrings. I always felt they were way too big to be earrings. So I had taken them apart intending to do something else with them, and I just really haven't. But there's a lot of ways you could use. This is wooden, just like those wooden shapes you buy at the dollar store. Be a lot of ways you could use that. And here's a chunky pair of cherries, beaded. A flip-flop. A chunky charm, dragonfly charm, a key, that's also from the Crayola store, and then a big chunky, this came out of a link belt, so that's something else. Another thing that you can look at for metal shapes is belts in the thrift stores. An Eiffel Tower, and the Eiffel Tower went on the other envelope. That's too bad. And then this is a bunch of little tiny green plastic leaves and a few more little cherries and some grapes in there. Those are teeny weeny. And then some gemstone stuff. I've got some gemstone beads and charms. A mother of pearl square. Another gemstone chunky bead. And then this is just a pin. It's a little mouse. I thought he was really cute. He's got little square eyeglasses on the end of his nose. That's another one that came out of either a belt or a necklace. Can't remember which. And this is like a sort of a tribal looking charm. Another, I thought this was a gemstone one, but it isn't. It's resin. There's a little gold charm that says love with some beads on it. And then this is a Millefiori glass pendant. Another mother of pearl one. Looks like it has some embedded pearls right in the matrix. Little seahorse. Little piece of stained glass. A lady with her hands on her hips. These were earrings that just never sold for me, but they make a great charm for a journal that they coordinate with. It's royal blue and turquoise. And then there's some feathers that used to be earrings. Another mother of pearl. Another mother of pearl. And a maple leaf. And a heart. Punch tin heart. So lots of different things to play with. It's going to be a tight squeeze in this box unless I shake it around a bit. Get it not so thick. So I can get it closed up. I do want to tape it shut. There we go. And then I'll slide it into the envelope. It'll just prevent it from damage. And if I put them in there loose, they're all going to go all down to one end. But because they're in a package, they're not going to move around. And hopefully nothing will get broken because there's a lot of stone and glass in there. And I'll put her name and address and the group and what it was for. Weekly wishes and the date. And I'll probably tape up this end as well so it doesn't break open. So that's Bobby Joe's. And then Bailey's. She asked, oh, I missed one. She asked for a few things, and I was able to grant all 3 wishes. So that's why she's getting a bit bigger envelope. So we have, I'll put the rest of that blue paper in. She asked for Christmas, anything Christmas, shaped tags, and beads and charms. So because I'm sending her the other things, I'm not sending her quite as many beads and charms, but I am sending her some. So this is to go with the Christmas. And then the shaped tags. And then I am sending her some wooden earrings and a couple pairs that she can either wear or use. Skeletons and pumpkins. I'm sending her this. It's just a strap off of a purse, but it has one of those lobster claw clasps, a large one, so I thought she could use that to make a dangle. I've got some Christmas printables that I've fussy cut, so I'm going to include those, and a couple sheets of embossed snowflake paper. This was the makings of a tag that I had kind of set aside to do and never did, so I'm sending her that. And then a little piece of ribbon that has sort of a Nordic pattern on it. That'll actually go with that nicely. And then there's several things that are just sort of fussy cut out of Christmas books and magazines, some wreaths. I spent quite a bit of time fussy cutting these. And the red ones I probably won't use, so I thought she might be able to use them. I really like this holly one, but I'm going to send it to her anyway. And then this one has gold and green, really pretty. And then there's I guess it's Mary, Joseph, and Jesus in the corner there. And then a couple of words, not even a mouse, season greetings, no peeking, and Merry Christmas. Oh, and another one that's, I think, Helen Steiner Rice. I think that was out of a Christmas card. And then some more modern Christmas trees. A little piece of, I think, magnolia. Yeah, it says magnolia leaf in the back. And then some little Christmas kids. Another piece of that fussy cut. This I fussy cut out of a Christmas card. It's like the bottom half of a wreath with a couple of things dangling. And then Santa on a dark blue background. This was in my Christmas stuff just because it's red and green, I think. So I'm going to include that. And then there's a couple of foam Christmas wreaths. And then 3 vintage Christmas cards with envelopes. So she can use those to send to someone, or she can just fussy cut out of them or whatever. But they are really nice actual vintage ones, not reproductions. Actual old vintage Christmas cards. And some more of those green beads. I sent her some of these. These are like a magnetic, I think, oh no, it's a snap. I think they are cufflinks. And then a set of those pearls. We can all use pearls, even if we just snip them off and glue them onto something. And then there was a few charm things. That's another thing that I painted with nail polish. And then some discs. And because she asked for Christmas stuff, I'm sending her Jesus as well on the cross. I don't know how religious she is, but if she doesn't want it, she can send it on to someone else. There's like a wire cage that she might be able to squeeze some beads inside of. There's another single cufflink. A couple more of those Christmas fussy cuts. And then I think that's all for charms. Then we have the shaped tags. So I had some already cut, and then I cut up a couple of file folders with my tag top shape. So she got some red ones. Because she was asking for Christmas stuff, I thought she might want some red ones. These are out of a file folder, you can see. The back side of them is kind of pinkish. That. So she can use whichever side and collage on the other side. And then, so there's quite a few red ones and then quite a few blue ones. And I've left them attached. So then you can either make a booklet with them, make a bookmark that opens up, with writing space inside, or you can chop them off and make them whatever length you want. That's kind of what I was thinking. So a bunch of blue ones, a bunch of red ones, and then a bunch of just regular file folder paper. But it's all like cardstock. Oh, and then there's some little pink stars. You probably can't see that, but they are star stickers. And then this was just the cover from the scrapbook paper that I got from my nephew. And so I cut it up, and she could use the blues and cover up this writing, or she can collage on this side and use the white back. Totally up to her. And I left those, I folded those over just so that they would fit in the envelope. And then I had these ones already cut. These are out of a photo album. And then these are out of, I had a set of, from the thrift store, a set of numbers or dates, like you take a picture of your baby every month for the first year. And these were the cards that you would put the picture on. So I cut them up and made pink glittery ones. And then this, I just did a video yesterday, I think it was, and it was a Kleenex box. So I used the tab top punch on that, and then a couple more blue ones that are skinny, and I did those double-ended. So she can either fold it in half, or she can make two different lengths of card or tag out of those. So I think that she'll be happy with that assortment of stuff. It's probably a bigger Happy Mail than she's expecting to receive, but I just like to grant all the wishes and give all the things. So then I've asked her the question. She hasn't answered me yet, whether she has a whale tail tab punch. But I thought I would send her a bunch of red ones because it's Christmas theme, and this is the same red as the tags that I cut her. If she answers me before I get this all sealed up, I will send her the other colors as well. In fact, I may go ahead and cut them before I seal it up and include them. I think there's going to be room. And then if there is still room after I get all this in that envelope, I can add some more scrapbook paper in there, some Christmassy scrapbook paper, because I don't use a lot of Christmas scrapbook paper. Okay, so that's enough of that. Thanks for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the Happy Mail process as I do it. Anyway, I do love to do the decorated envelopes, and the lady at the post office loves to see me come in because she likes to see how I've decorated the envelopes. And I know when I get an envelope in the mailbox that looks something like this, I'm just thrilled. So I hope that the recipients of my Happy Mail are as happy with them as I am. I know they're not great works of art, but at least it's not just a plain envelope, right? And I do go back before I mail it. Once everything's dry, I go back and glue things down that I see popping up because we don't want them getting caught in the machinery. I have received some pretty mangled envelopes in the mail. You don't want that. So anyway, thanks for watching today. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. But most of all, have a great day and happy crafting.